Welcome to the Freo Doctor Uncensored, with me, your host Maria Vusic, where unedited conversations ride on the cleansing breeze of the Freo Doctor. Helen Cox on the other end of the table, we have Mark Woodcock, and we have Elizabeth Megrove and Craig Ross. I'm your host, Maria Vusic. Our first issue that I'm putting on the table is the Westend Easter markets. For 7 years, we have had local business who have sought an opportunity and made a great success out of a market. This would have been their 8th year, and the council cancels it, doesn't engage with the local businesses, and doesn't give them any notice. How does that sound for you? Is this a success story for the council? Wow. How do you think that's going down?
Sadly, it seems to be going like everything else that's been successful in Fremantle, and that worked. And in this instance, it was interesting to hear the traders, the business people who said there was no extra cost to the ratepayers or to the city. It worked. It was a huge success. And here we have the city telling the traders, we haven't got any money. We need to introduce over East entertainers to make this a workable event. And you think, excuse me, do we not have any artists or people in WA, in Fremantle, who can be showcased? And why don't you promote them and get the Eastern people to come over here and see what we have to offer? Why do we need someone else to make our city look interesting and worthwhile visiting? Okay,
now Mark, have you got a point of view on this one?
Council's been killing off things in Fremantle for 15 years. It's pretty terrible the way things have gone. There's been lots of good events. I mean, you look at the services they've cut out of the city. Anything to do with older people, older residents in there, they're not really interested in. Local events, they've been killing those off. We had the deck chair theatre disappear. The puppets show. There's just a whole range of orchestra. Yeah, well, just look at the local Fremantle Orchestra, how they struggled to get a space. We've got the old town hall there, beautiful. And they've done nothing inside to renovate it or to upgrade its facilities since the America's Cup. So that's the council's a disgrace, and you have to wonder where all the money goes. But when we can see King's Square, the new civic centre, that'll be approaching $70 million before we probably be at the end of this year, and it's still not finished. South Beach Market, I think you mentioned earlier, that's close to $1 million, and they haven't even bought a bag of concrete yet. So it's just typical. Of course, they've got no money because they're poor financial managers and they're poor planners, and they don't focus on what's important.
Anyone else want to pick this thread up of the Westend markets?
Yes, well, I'm very concerned about the corporatisation of amenities, services, community events. That really concerns me because it actually diminishes the contributions of our community. It diminishes the vibrancy of our community. It doesn't matter whether you go to the beach, whether you go to the parks. They're not serviced and maintained the way they should be.
Okay.
I was stunned that the city officers had not contacted the convener of this market to ask for their opinion, to give them a heads up that they're actually cancelling their event. They've been successful for a number of years.
Yeah.
Well, my understanding is Rowena Mitchell is the person who owns the artisan shop. I think it's called the Artisan Store in Fremantle. Yeah. She represents 170 local artists, mostly local, but there are some who live down south and some around the Perth area. But, that's all within the remit, I would say. And I was at the last council meeting, and what really annoys the hell out of me is the fact that they are able to infer that she sort of benefits from it and they need to open this up to other local businesses to come into that area. Firstly, the street is closed from Market Street, High Street, where the National Hotel is. They've got the corner. The stage will be there, right? Now, if you look straight down High Street towards the Roundhouse, it is dead. There's no reason for anyone to go down that street. Now, 8 years ago, when these events started happening, and you're quite right, Helen, this is about corporatisation. These are people that come in and make money on us. So what they looked at it and they said, well, you've shut off our street. We can't even do a normal trade like we would normally do because you've even cut that off. So they got very entrepreneurial. They went, wow, is there an opportunity there for us? So they said, well, let's do it. And it was coming out of their stores, not on the footpath, because there's no advantage of you being on the footpath, but actually in the streets. So as the people are enjoying the National Hotel and that part of the city, which has been activated with the stage, naturally your eye goes up the street and there's this beautiful colourful marquees with 170 odd artists.
Like a long table of contributors.
Exactly, and been a great success. Now, I have an episode 6 on Rowena Mitchell and the backdrop to the markets. But it's also about not so much making a lot of money on that day, although it is a good weekend for them because quite a few people are coming in. But it's
a terrible idea having people have businesses in Fremantle making money. Can you imagine? That's just disgraceful. Imagine council being upset about that. Of course, they must be very offended.
Exactly.
Well, you know, if you have a look at the model, it's almost like losers and winners. The losers in this case were a whole series of small businesses. The Fremantle Westend weekend event takes place over the Easter weekend. The local businesses are represented by 3 councillors, Sullivan, Lang and Williamson Wong, each earning around $30,000 a year, and Mayor Fitzharding, who receives about $130,000 annually from ratepayers. Despite this, they seem deaf to the pleas of 47 local businesses and over 300 community members who signed a petition to restore a successful market that operates at no cost to the council. It is a market that showcases local talent. A recent survey revealed over 95% of local businesses support the markets. Yet Councillors Sullivan, Lang, Williamson Wong and Mayor Fitzharding remain unresponsive, leaving hard-working businesses to suffer from lost trade due to street closures. While council members and administration collect their paychecks regardless, the true losers are once again the local businesses and community. It is time for the elected members to honour election promises of consultation, engagement and business activation. This is what authentic community engagement looks like. Either step up or make way for those who will serve Fremantle. Thank you for tuning into Freo Doctor Uncensored. If you like this podcast, give us your feedback in the comments and like and share for more awesome content. Catch you in the next episode.